G'day YouTube. As the title suggests, this trip was a big donut as far as the fishing is concerned, but it does serve to illustrate how you can turn a potentially good day's fishing into a bad day with just one or two bad decisions. As usual, I watched the weather forecast for over a week before the fishing trip, and it started off as exceptionally good weather for outside fishing. I was really looking forward to it, but as the week progressed, the forecast got worse and worse, to the point where the night before I decided that I was going to fish inside the bay and I had my spots picked out. It wasn't until after I got back that I realised I'd misread the graph. I have all my wave heights, depths and everything set in feet. I'm very old-fashioned about that. When I looked quickly at the wave rider buoy, I had forgotten that that graph is in metres and I thought I was reading feet, and I thought the forecast was wrong, so I thought, oh great, I'll head outside. Well, after I got back home, I looked at it again and then I realised my mistake. The wave rider buoy gives its figures in metres, so it was a lot rougher out there than I expected. It was even rougher than the forecast. That's the background behind the first mistake I made, being in too much of a rush that morning to get away and not reading the graph properly. Once I was safely through the bar and saw how rough it was out there, I should have abandoned it and gone straight back in again. But I was through the bar and I thought, oh, the worst of it's over, I'll head out and do some fishing. That was the second mistake. I got to the live bait grounds and there was plenty of live bait getting around on the sounder. When I dropped the sabiki rig in though, I couldn't get any. Now, I had got a little bit lazy. I always make up my own sabiki rigs these days, but I hadn't done one. I'd been a bit too lazy during the week to get one ready, so I put on a Gamakatsu rig that I had bought, and I've never done any good with that rig. Now, some people may do great with it, but I don't think I've ever caught a bait fish on that rig. So I put my lack of ability to catch bait down to the rig that I was using. So the third mistake of the trip was being too lazy to take the time and make my own sabiki rig before I went out. I should have abandoned it at that point as well and gone back to my fishing spots that I picked out inside the bay, because I didn't have any live bait to fish outside with. I checked the wave buoy before I came out and it was showing 2 foot with the odd 3 foot wave. I thought, oh, that won't be too bad, but the time it took me to get here, which was about 2 hours, that's obviously deteriorating too. I'm not doing any good here. I think I'll pack up the sabiki and just go try the bait that I have. Because I can't say I'm terribly happy out here. I'll head out to the 29s, have a look out there, see if there's anything out there worth worrying about. Once I got to the 29s and had a good look around on the sounder and did a few drifts, I could see fish were there, but they showed no interest at all in taking the bait. I got a couple of nibbles and that was all. I had a taste of the bait and then just weren't interested. Again, should have abandoned it at that point and gone back to my fishing spots inside the bay instead of keeping drifting trying to find some hungry fish. That was mistake number 4. Well, it's calmed down a bit from what it was earlier. It's not too bad now. It was a bit rough earlier, but there's nothing biting. Couldn't get any bait. I've had a couple of nibbles out here, but that's it. Nothing took the bait. I just had a taste and went away. Nothing's very hungry, that's for sure. When I finally gave up on the 29s, I decided that I'd hit the Coffee Rock reefs out to the east of Moreton and see if I could pick up a parrot or two. Mistake number 5. I didn't have enough burley on board to get the parrots excited and bring them in, so all I picked up was a rubbish fish. Well, got a fish for the trip. Not one I wanted, but foul hooked. I'll throw him in the live bait tank. I might want him after. Oh, bloody monster. Oh, bait again. Looks like it's all I'm going to pull up here is a some bait. Another one of these. I'll get another hook in me. That's some GU. Go back in a bit and drift out. I'm not finding anything much here. Oh, another one of these little rainbow things. Yep, that's what it is. Up into there with the rest. The trick now is to time my departure so that I can make use of the live bait that I've got on the way back. Okay, one more drop. Get rid of that old bait. Back through the Rouse Channel for a change. Look how glassy it is in here. Well, you have some days like this. It's a series of bad choices. First bad choice was to decide to go outside. The weather forecast had deteriorated all week, but I decided I wasn't going outside, and then I had a look at the wave rider buoy, and it was showing about a 2-foot swell early this morning. And it took me about 2 hours to get out to the bar. She was a lot more than 2 foot when I got there, and outside was way more than 2 foot as well. Didn't get anything, no one else out there. I was out on the 29s. There's a few boats around me, I didn't see anyone get anything. I spoke to one of the boats, he got a couple of trag due and that was it. Yep, I should have stayed in here where it's beautiful and calm. Yeah, lots of choices where to fish in the bay. Could have gone up to Morton on a day like today, would have been beautiful. Oh well, can't win them all, but you can enjoy the bay when it's like this. Fast out conditions again. Gotta love winter. And there you have it. That's the anatomy of a disaster, whether it's a life-threatening disaster or just a fishing disaster. It usually begins with one bad decision and it's compounded by more bad decisions until it turns out to be the disaster. Never mind, it was a fishing mistake, not a life-threatening mistake, and there's always next time. So until then, I hope you have better fishing.